Okay guys, this is a quick review for our trading day and our trading room experience for Friday, November the 6th, 2020. Uh, Good or marginal day, just depending on who you were in the trading room. A lot of us in here have, on the last three trades that we've done different strike prices with different entry points, and some of you guys killed it, some of you guys did okay, some of you guys did not do well. And I include myself in that category in a couple of those. But we had three trades today that we did finish up with. One was the W trade, and I've got to go through all my fills on this. I do believe here with the profit today, there was a slight profit of about $500 before Tastyworks actually closed my positions out for me at the end of the day. They're wonderful risk management team. I do believe that I finished in the profits. I'm going to have to go through those and look at them to see after all of the adjustments. We did have a killer SPX trade today. I think that my numbers on that, if we look at the SPX trades, there was our first fill on a call at 50 cents. No, here we go. There was our first fill right there on a put at $1.40. Big credit on that one. Then we added the call leg there at 50 cents. Exited the whole iron condor here with about 51 minutes to go in the trading day at a debit of 20 cents. That was about a 10% implied rate of return on the SPX trade. So the W trade, it definitely could have been better. It definitely could have been worse too. So I'm okay on the W trade. The SPX trade was awesome. The BABA trade that we did today, guys, I took a full loss. We pushed through both of the short and the long both of the legs of the spread, of the call spread. We pushed through both of them. So max loss on that. I had $6,000 tied up in that trade. It was about a $4,400 loss. So 75% loss on that particular trade. I'm going to need one or two good 0-date expiration days to make up for that. So overall on the day, guys, I guess the takeaways are, when we do short scalping trades, keep them as short scalping trades, right? Don't let them roll and roll and roll into extra and extra days, because that's how you get buried in a trade. And that's what we had happen there on that BABA trade. We just got buried in it. A couple of our members got out on the very first day right up front at a profit. And so we should have just moved on. But we didn't, so we learned our lessons. That's our review for today, guys. We'll be back Monday with another 0-date expiration trade. That's what's happening with me, is I'm running out of a little bit of dry powder. I have had for the last couple of weeks allocated about $50,000 of my capital for the 0-day to expiration trading strategy. Well, you can see that I've got in my W trade, I've got $42,000 of that capital committed, and then I've got another $6,000 committed to the BABA position, right? So basically, I'm out of dry powder for a 0-day to expiration trade today. Well, I've got a couple grand. We can do a trade. I'll be able to do one today, but it isn't going to be a big one, right? And so the question becomes, where is the best allocation for my capital? Now, BABA is pushing up right now. It's still below our 295, but it's getting close, right? This was a marginal trade for me initially. I'm not a marginal trade, but a small trade, right? This was just a very small scalp trade that we were looking for. I put up $6,000, brought in about $500, was hoping to capture about $200 of that in a 1-day scalp, right? Well, now you can see, again, it's still below our strike price, so everything is extrinsic value, but that $500 of extrinsic value that I did have is now $1,300. And so that's not inconsequential for me, $1,300. And the reason that we go through this exercise is, well, we could close this out right now. I could close this out, get my $6 grand back to go do a 0-date expiration trade, but can I go deploy $6,000 in a 0-date expiration trade and bring in more than $1,300? Probably not. That would be a really amazing rate of return, right? So I'm probably going to just sit in this BABA trade and watch this here for a little bit. and then if I have to roll it, I will roll it to next week. My W trade, kind of the same situation, but not really, right? So we're getting a nice bump there on my profit today on BABA. Obviously, it's moving in the right direction. We need to stay below that 300 level. And right now, at least, it's looking solid to do that. But I've got $4,700 of extrinsic value still sitting out there. So a couple of things for me. We've already talked about this. Obviously, my profit and loss open position here, showing about $9,000 of open profit. That's on the current positions, right? That's not including that call roll that we had to pay for to do. So I actually need about $2,700 more of this extrinsic value to be able to push my W trade into the green. But in total, there's $4,700 of extrinsic value still sitting there. And so, again, the question is, well, can I take that $42,000? Can I close this out, take that $42,000, go deploy it in a 0 data expiration trade and bring in more than the $5,000 that's sitting there right now? The answer, again, probably not. So my capital right now is kind of stuck right where we're at right here, at least for the next foreseeable little bit. We generally wait until about an hour into the trading day anyway to get trading. And so we've got about another half hour here or so to see where we get directionally. Again, we're kind of down at the lows of the day. And so we'll see if we can hold this and bounce back up, or if we continue to slide down. But we'll watch it here. We'll watch everything here for the next half hour or so, and then we'll come back in and see what we think about a 0 data expiration trade today, and then of course B, what are we looking at with our two open positions. So we'll chat with you guys in just a little bit. Okay guys, it's about time here to look at doing our SPX trade that we're looking at. And just a couple of comments quickly here on our position. So I'm hopeful here that later in the day I'll have a little bit more capital to commit to this. I'm just going to start with one contract here just to get a trade on the books for you guys to be able to take a look at on the SPX. I'm hopeful that at some point here today I can get out of my BABA trade at a profit, not need to do any adjustment there. And then obviously just watching the W trade, my feeling right now with the W trade is that I'm going to probably come in here after we do our SPX trade and see if I can close out this put leg and roll that up. So that would be my first step for today. Obviously, we're still down below the 300 level, but we're really close, right? So my first step in this with the W trade today would probably be to roll that put up. But let's look at the SPX first. So again, you know, we've got 3 different trades that's working here. The BABA trade, I'm just sitting here waiting for a little bit more time erosion to happen. I think I can still get that into a profit here without having to do any adjustment, but that's going to be later in the day. The W trade probably going to roll the puts up. Let's look at the SPX now. And I'm watching the futures contracts over here. And guys, I think that I'm going to start here. I'm going to designate the put leg as the strong leg. And that seems maybe a little bit strange because we are still down on the day. Nasdaq's down 80 bucks. S&P or E-minis are down 6. S&P down 5. But that is off of a low that was much lower than that. We've really rebounded off of that. And the momentum right now does seem to be to the upside. So I'm going to go ahead on my SPX trade. And I'm looking at the 34.75s by the 34.65s. That's an 18 delta, so that's a pretty strong position there. But I am scaling in small, so that's one contract. Nat price is $1.20, mid price is $1.35 to $1.40 in there. I'm going to try $1.40 on it and just see what we get there. It's working there, so I'm going to kind of let it sit here for just a minute at that $1.40. It's showing a mid price now of $1.48, $1.43, $1.45, $1.35. So let me just let this sit here for a minute at this $1.40 level before I adjust down to $1.35. Okay, so I do get a fill at $1.40. So that's my first leg in right there. On the put side, I'll go ahead and record that in our trading tab. So close the puts out at $200. Reopen these at about $2,000, so about $1,800 net credit on that if I can get that filled. Mid price is 40 cents, so I'm a little bit away on that. Replace that, come down to that 40. It'd be $1,600, and that gets filled at 43. So it's about $1,600. extra in there. And that just gives me a little bit extra juice here if I have to roll out my call leg. So I'm going to go ahead and record those guys. Stan, you're in at a 9 delta, okay, on the ES. Bob is still working underneath our strike price. We just need some time erosion there. I can free up some capital there. We're sitting right at our 300 strike price on our W. I've rolled up that put leg. So I'm going to go ahead and put that activity into the trade tab. You can see there closing out the put leg at a debit of 4 cents, reopening it at 43-cent credit. At this point, what are we here? We're just a little over an hour into the market open. Our SPX trade is working. We've got one leg in. Our BABA trade is still below the 295 level. I just need some time to click away there to get out of a profit on that. We moved our put leg up on our W, and it's still sitting inside the profit zone. I got a ton of extrinsic value now sitting in W. I've got over $11,000 of extrinsic value sitting there. And so even if it sits right at this level, I'm okay with that here as the day goes by. And then we'll take a closer look at the call leg there, or it could be the put leg. You never know with W, right? But we'll take a look at that here closer to the end of the day, end of the trading day. But right now, just waiting to maybe put in the extra leg on our SPX trade, waiting to see if I can get out of the BABA trade at a nice profit. As I was saying, as we're sitting right now, I think we entered the SPX trade on the right side of that trade. I'm already showing a little green there on SPX. BABA is still below the 295, but we're going to need a lot more time passage there. And then W hovering around that 300 level. But you know, these round numbers, these numbers like 300, there is a psychological level there at that 300 level. And so even though W is trying to push higher here, we'll see if it can push above that or not. It's 31 now, just pushed up above the 300 level. We'll see if it can hold or not. Obviously a lot of time still left in the day, a lot of theta still left in this trade. I've got $4,800 still of potential theta sitting out there, 5,200 now. That's obviously fluctuating around. So we're just kind of in wait and see mode here, guys, until we see if we can get out of the BABA trade at a nice profit without having to do any adjusting, and then where we put in our second SPX trade level. It's about 9:10 a.m. Mountain Time, guys, and I'm just checking in here. I think that we made the right assumption there on the SPX trade, with the bias being to the upside. The SPX just briefly here was flirting with positive, almost back to, well, beyond break even, right? Mini futures about break even as well. NASDAQ trying to come back. So I think that we put the right leg in right now. You can see that I brought in about $140 credit on that one contract, and I've already got, what, 30-40% of the value out of that contract, up 50 bucks on that. So we'll be looking to put the other leg in here 20-30 minutes on that. BABA is trying to get back into the profit zone, and it would be wonderful if I could time that with our entry into the other leg on the SPX. That'd free up a little bit of capital for me. So W is hanging in there. We just keep, today really for BABA and W, I mean, it's always the case, right, for a zero date expiration trade, but for W and BABA today, it is really the battle that takes place here between the price movement, which we're not liking the price movement's going against us, versus the battle of that theta erosion. And generally speaking, it's a battle that theta wins on expiration date. So I am still moving into the profit zone here on W. I got a lot left sitting out there, almost 11,000 of extrinsic value still sitting out there. So there's a lot of time, obviously, left in the day. But it would be great if I could time that BABA trade to get that into the green so that I could free up some capital for the remainder of our SPX trades for the rest of the day. But we'll come back here in about 20 minutes or so, guys, and take a look at adding another leg here to our SPX trade. Just as I say that, just barely as I say that, I'm getting some green on the BABA trade. Just barely. Up 80 bucks today, overall position up 60 bucks. So we are in the green. That's a good first sign right there. Still though, $500 of, see, this is what happens as a trader, right? You're like, oh, if I could just get back to break even, that would be wonderful. And now you're at a profit and you're like, but there's $400 more profit still sitting out there. But it looks like it's working nicely right now. We've got some time, again, 15-20 minutes before we look to get into the other leg of our SPX trade. W is still clicking away, guys. This is the challenge, right? I tell you guys the disclaimer right up front. I can't give investment advice. All I'm really doing here is showing you what I do and how I trade. And I encourage and I like it when I see you guys doing your own derivations and different variations of the trades that I do. The problem that creates is number one, when it gets time to correct those trades, I've got 20 of you guys saying, hey, I got this trade, I got that trade, I got this trade, I got that trade, what do I do with it? And it's really hard to track what 15 different people are doing if they're doing different stuff and give you directives on that. But if you are in the same positions, if you have followed me lockstep in this W trade, it could end up today being a really nice trade for us. Could be a really, really nice trade for us. BABA now up 200 bucks. So it's moving in the right direction, guys. As long as this keeps taking place here, I'm probably going to cash out the BABA trade at a nice profit before we do our next leg on the SPX. About 9:40 right now, guys, Mountain Time. And it does look like the market's trying to push a little bit higher here. So we definitely entered the right leg. We entered the put leg on the SPX. That's turned out nice for us. I think that we could continue to see some strength here in the marketplace. So I'm going to hold off here for just a little bit longer. Again, we've got good IV in the market today. We're going to hold off a little bit longer here on putting the call leg in. So let's just hang out for just a little bit. BABA trade is still trying to work into a profit. We're still trying to work on that. W's pushed above 300, but I've still got more extrinsic value than I am down for the day. It still makes sense for me to sit in my W position at this point. So let's just sit and hang out for just a little bit, and then we'll look to see if we can get a call leg in here at a decent delta. Just so that you guys know what I'm looking at right now on the SPX. I'm looking at about a 12 delta right now. But that could change. We might need to slide that up a little bit if the market continues to sort of try to get back to the positive side. There's good premium in it still, so we might need to slide up to the 9 delta, but this is the range that we're looking at right now. So we'll just check back in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put in my SPX leg here, because I don't want to just sit around waiting for the BABA trade to give me some profits. I think that will take care of itself as the day winds on, but I want to get a leg in right now. So we do have this 3475, right, is the puts. We got the put leg in first, so the 3475s is our short leg. Let's go look at the SPX. Let's get the right expiration date here. Here we go. And these are probably the strike prices that I'm looking at right here, the 35.45s by the 35.55s. Nap price right now 25 cents, mid price is 40 cents. If we can get above 30 cents, it makes sense. If that makes sense. If we get above 30 cents, it makes sense, if that makes sense, okay? So I'm going to try for 35 and see what I get. If I don't get that, then we're not going to lower the price. See, it's already below 30 cents on the mid price, so we're going to need to lower the delta on that if it doesn't build. I'll let it sit for here just a second, but I don't think we're even close. Yeah, we're not close, so I'm going to cancel that order. Let's come back in here and let's look at the 40s. That'll give us the price that we need. That's about as close as we can get. That's a 1 standard deviation away. It's way out of the expected range move. Nap price is 45 cents. Mid price is around 60, 65. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm going to price it. Well, now mid price is 55. So I'm going to price that at 50. See what I get. That feels right away at 50. So you guys may be able to get 55 on that. You could probably get 55 on that. But I am filled now on the call side of that trade. So got 43 cents on the put side, got 50 cents on the call side. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the trade tab. Yeah, you guys are killing me on the fills. You guys are killing me on the fills. Okay, guys, so we are in a full iron condor now on the SPX. We're still in the profit zone on that. That's nice. BABA is still down below our 295 strike price. We just need either a little directional movement there or some passage of time to get out of there at a profit. Our W trade is still pushing up above the 300 level, but I've still got a lot of extrinsic value sitting there. So I'm going to wait on the W trade to do my roll on that. Because we do still have a lot of time left in the day. So we're just in sort of wait and see mode, guys, here for a little bit. Fred, you're at it, a nice profit for the day. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. Asking on what's going on with BABA. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a pop here on BABA. I had looked at potentially here on BABA putting in a corresponding put leg on there. There's not a lot of premium left in today's session to get a put leg in that would make any type of substantive difference here. And so we've got a little bit, we've got 5 candles now down back on the marketplace. Market's starting to try to push back down. Lots of time still left in the day. So I'm just going to sit pat on the BABA trade. Obviously still sitting in the W trade. I've got to work through some more extrinsic value. I've got to work through some more theta on the W trade before it's practical for me to look at even whether I need to roll those calls or not. We do still have a lot of time in the day. I do think that we're going to get a little bit of movement here to the downside. Our SPX trade is looking solid. Make sure, so on my SPX trade there you can see I've got about $1,000 committed to that. That makes sense. It's $1,000. It's a $10 spread. I did 1 contract, $1,000. Or did I do 1? No. How many contracts did I do? 2 contracts. 1 contract. $1,000, $10 spread. I brought in $190 in premium, and I'm sitting on $80 of profit right now. So we're getting really close there on our SPX trade already in the day to that 50% or so profit level that we always love to try to start exiting at. So be wary of that, be cautious of that, watch your SPX trade. Obviously we don't want to give that profit back. We'll see if the market can retrace here a little bit, and that would obviously benefit both the BABA trade and the W trade. The case. We don't always time it just perfectly like that. And so the last week or so, which when you've been involved here, last couple of weekly trading sessions, we've had to push to the end of the day to get the theta that we desire. We always want to take profits. One of the things that we are going to try to track here in this the full-blown spreadsheet here that we're putting together that you guys can use to track all your trades is capture rate. Capture rate is how much of the premium that you originally put on do you ultimately capture, and generally that capture rate is going to be around 40 or 50%. So if you can get 50%, that is a great day. And it puts us well over our goal for the week. Again, we're trying to make 1 to 2% a day, 5% a week. That would put us well above that number. This with a couple of other trades. If you are in profits right now, and all of us should be in profits on the SPX trade, don't let that slip away, right? Watch it closely, because I do think that we're probably going to continue to come down as the day goes by. And just pull that up. I don't remember when I put this on how much time was left. I think it was about a 1-month trade, if I remember right, something very close to a 1-month trade. And just a small trade, you know, I put up $900 on the trade. But brought in $350 in credit on that. Crazy potential rates of return on these kinds of trades, and very low maintenance. You don't have to stare at them all day. So probably be looking for more things like that on our Tuesday, Thursday trades. These mastermind groups are $25,000 to $100,000, and one of the reasons for that is because of some of the guest speakers that they bring in. And so you guys have probably heard of Dr. John Najarian, or you've seen him on CNBC, and I've done some work with him in the past on unusual option activity. He has a slick program, and there's a couple of things that I'm going to show you guys in the mastermind group, how to find unusual option activity and let that drive you to finding trading opportunities, right? And I thought it would be great to have my buddy John Najarian come be a guest speaker at our mastermind, he was like, I would love to, and I will give you a discounted rate of 50 grand. So apparently I am not as good of friends with Dr. J as I had thought. So I would love to have a guest speaker there with us, but you know, I have to balance it. I will tell you guys, there's very little fudge room. There's very little profit margin in a $5,200 mastermind group. I told you guys that place is like $15,000 to $18,000 a night. We're budgeting like $12,000 a day for food or something like that. That might be where we end up, Dredd. It may just be us, but I will tell you this: we will have plenty to talk about. We will have plenty to talk about. Spouse is the same amount. Spouse is $5,000, because the problem, Dave, is that we still have to buy his or her airfare, room, and food. So there's no room to move on that. Jeremy, you only need 72 hours. Okay. Well, we'll work on this. This is something that over the next couple of months we'll keep throwing out some stuff for you guys to talk about. And one of the great things about this, guys, is this is all going to be built on your input. Okay, this is all built on your input. Whatever we get out of this mastermind is going to be what you want to get out of it, because you're going to help me craft the agenda. So this is totally customized and built by you for you. So it should be an awesome experience. But again, I'm thinking probably seven months out is what I'm thinking at. Let's find the SPX trade on the call side. I got filled at 50 cents on the call side. Let's try to do a similar order here and see where you're at. It's down at like a 30-cent credit right now, and you'd probably be lucky to get 25 cents on a fill. So you're probably out on the call side for right now. Theta kind of has already come and gone for you. I'm showing $115 profit on the SPX for my position. There's only $75 of extrinsic still left. So as long as it's sitting fine, I don't have a problem really leaving it in place. But I just don't want to give that away, right? We do not want to give that away. About 11:30 my time. So 2.5 hours left in the trading day. About 2 hours for us, you know, about half hour before the market closes. Again, we want to try to look at shutting stuff down. The SPX trade is still looking really solid right here. Even though the market is now pushing up, we are very close here to the highs of the day. We're back at the highs of the day. So interesting how strong this market really is. The W trade, I am just looking at this, guys. I'm getting very close to a profit on my W trade. I believe. So I needed to get down on my extrinsic value. I needed to get down to where there was only $2,000 of extrinsic value left. I needed all of my extrinsic value out of this trade except for $2,000, and that would put me into the green. But I have obviously rolled up my puts here. I spent 4 cents to 4 cent debit to close them out. Got 43 cents rolling them up. So that's essentially a 39-cent credit. So if I just replicate that order real quickly here, 39 cents. If it'll let me. Here we go. 39 cents I think brought in about $1,600. Brought in about $1,600 additional credit on that. So that obviously puts me up about $3,600 of extrinsic that I could leave out there. Showing about $6,000 of extrinsic value now, so obviously still have a ways to go here. But I think I've got a pretty good shot at that, obviously, unless W takes off, right? I've got a pretty good shot at that. So I am hoping here to get out of W today at a profit, get out of it, and not have to roll it. That would be great. That would be great. Now the BABA trade is still pushing up above our 275. I've looked here a couple of times this morning, the last little hour or so. I've looked at the opportunity to put in a put leg, and we could do that. We could put in a put leg. It would help a little. It would have to be an incredibly tight put leg at 295. That doesn't make a lot of sense. We've got on our call side here, we've got a 5-cent spread, or a $5 spread rather. So if we went to the 292.50s, and I've got 12 contracts here, that at a 7-cent credit, that brings in 60 bucks. That's not going to help us, guys. That's not going to help us on the BABA trade. It doesn't meter out the risk of putting that leg on, bringing in 50, 60, 70 bucks for the risk that it profiles in our risk graph. Doesn't make sense. So on the BABA trade, I'm looking at BABA here. You can look at the graph. Let's go back to a daily chart on BABA. And I want to show you why I'm pretty comfortable here with BABA. We don't have any massive, let me see if I can open this up a little bit here. We don't have any massive buy signals right now on BABA. This is just sort of a carry through of what we are seeing in the marketplace. Of all of these tech stops are jumping. It's hovering right around this 50-day moving average. And I've got this overhang up here at about 310, okay? So that's about 10 or so dollars away from where we are. I could roll this out to next week at probably very little cost to the 305s. So I've got this big overhang out here at 310. I could roll them out to the 305s. I feel like I'm going to be okay on the BABA trade. If I need to roll it, I don't have an issue really doing that. So we'll continue to watch it here, obviously. We've got hours and hours to go in the day, but I just wanted to give you guys an update on all of the different positions here that we're working in. Okay guys, we're at that power hour moment in the day, 1 hour left in the trading day. I want to go through our positions here, talk a little bit about kind of what I'm looking at, the game plan for the rest of the day, etc. So first of all, the market. We've come off the highs. We're in the last hour of trading. We've got a little bit more weakness than strength. That could help us here. We're pushing down as we speak right now. And so that could help us on our trades. On my SPX trade, guys, pretty much all of the profit has been extracted out of that. I do have a close order in on my SPX trade for a debit of 15 cents. It's showing the mid price right now at 13 cents. So I would think as we get closer here to expiration, that will probably fill for me, but there's only $13 of extrinsic value still sitting out in that. The BABA trade, I've looked at this 9 ways to Sunday, guys, and it doesn't make a lot of sense on this trade to do an adjustment on that. Now, I've looked at doing possibly a whole new trade on BABA, and here's my numbers right now as I sit in this trade. So I put about $6,000 of capital in. We're down about 4,300 right now, sitting pretty close to the max loss there. Our long leg that we own is 300, right? So we're very, very close to that. So 4,300 loss on $6,000 of capital. What is that? Something like 70%. 70% down on that leg. So you always have to be careful. You have to be cognizant of what we've talked about before about revenge trading, trying to go after the same underlying to get back a certain percentage or amount of money. The roll on BABA doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. What I was looking at here on BABA was an iron condor coming out here a couple of weeks. And on the put side, looking at the 285s, it's a little bit of a skewed iron condor, $5 spread on it. On the call side, 325s by 330s. So if you look at that in a risk graph, there you go. You could, well, let's remove our existing position here. There we go. So that's what that risk graph would look like. I was looking at a quantity of like, I think 9,000. Let me see where we're at here. It might have been a little bit more than that, maybe 10,000. So that trade right there is a decent trade. It'd be about a $10,000 trade, and that would get us back to break even on the trade. Guys, I don't love that trade. It's a 56% probability trade. I think it's got the right skew in it and everything, but I don't love that trade. So I'm going to come back to our BABA trade here in a half hour, a half hour before the market closes, and look at it. This just might be a trade where I take a 60 or a 70% loss. That might be the case on the BABA trade. The W trade to me is obviously way more important. I've got 42,000 of capital tied up in the W trade. I've got 6,000 tied up in the BABA trade. Getting that $4,400 back from the BABA trade is one good 0 data expiration for me, right? So the W trade is obviously much, much more important. I believe you guys may have kept better track of this than I have, but I believe right now as I sit, I'm very, very, well, there we go. So right now as I sit, I'm very, very close to profits in the W trade. I should be in the profits right now based on what I have left extrinsic-wise. It, of course, depends on where W lands here as we get closer to expiration. So as I look at the trade right now, let's remove any stuff that's hanging out there. On the W trade, this is kind of where I sit right now. Obviously, right above that 300 level, but still inside that profit zone. Be really nice if we could drop down below that 300 level. That would change the picture dramatically. So the market is still trying to sell off here. It's not dropping dramatically, but it's trying. Checking just quickly on my SPX exit. Still sitting there at 15-cent debit. It's not really in harm's way or anything right now, so I'm going to let that sit at the 15-cent debit. And then I'm just going to watch the BABA trade. I'm going to watch the W trade, guys, here to the to my 1:30 hour, which would be a half hour left in closing. And we'll go from there. Out on your ES trade with 400 today. Awesome. Great job. Okay. So I'm going to watch them, guys. Let's just hope that the market continues to come down here. And we'll check back in here with about, a half hour or so left in the market. RMA Berry. I don't know how you say that. I don't know how you say your name. RMA Berry. That's what I'll call you. RMA Berry. You did 80 contracts. That's strong. That is a big, big trade. $6,800 profit on the day, though. Congratulations. That is a nice, nice way to head into the weekend, right? Wendy, I'm not holding on to my SPX. I have a sell order in. My sell order, again, my sell order, I moved it to 20, a debit of 20 cents. Mid price is 15, so I'm assuming we're going to get a fill here pretty quick. There's my fill on the SPX. So I'm out at that 20-cent debit on the SPX. So that was a nice profit on that trade. But as I was saying, I don't really have the ability to roll the BABA trade here. We've just got to sit and wait and see if it pulls down a little bit. On the W trade, I have the ability to roll that. So there's Tastyworks right there, or taking me out of the BABA trade automatically. Let's see what they got fill-wise. My screen is locked up with all of this stuff that we're running. So the BABA is filled. I'm out of the BABA trade. It's working my W trade there as well. Just the short legs. So Tastyworks took me out, guys. Tastyworks took me out on both my BABA trade and my W trade. I've got just the long legs left in my trade, and I don't know if there's any value in them to even remove them. There's a little bit. I don't know if I can get anything out of that. Let me see if I can get any value out of it. No value in it. I'm going to try the puts. Let's see if there's any value there. Same thing. Try to get 2 cents. They're showing no bids on them. So I'm out at a max loss, guys, on the BABA trade. And yeah, it was early. It was early. I think for me, it's the amount of risk versus what I had in this account. That was a pretty heavy trade. Marty, Tastyworks took you out too. So I'm going to look at coming back in here on W. Go out a week on this. Yeah. I think I got taken out at a profit, guys. I think I was there in the profit zone. I'm going to have to go back and add all of those trades up to find out. But I was really, really close. I was really, really close on that. The BABA trade obviously was a loss. The SPX was a good one for the day. I'm out of pretty much everything right now at this point. It's kind of a different experience to still have 45 minutes left in the marketplace and be out of everything. So I think I salvaged the W trade. We had a nice trade on the SPX. BABA trade did not go well. We haven't had I don't know what you guys booked in on the SPX trade profit, but I think I was around 11% or something like that. So there's the ball, there's IV, and there's enough IV in this to get some good pops on the 0 date expirations And so I'm excited for Monday. I think Monday will be a good day as well. I always like to say you shouldn't hope for more than 10%. You really shouldn't. Because if you're getting more than a 10% return on a 0-date expiration, you're probably pushing your wings a little too tight. And eventually it's going to bite you. So that's about as good as you can really hope for, is around 10% on the day. Ed, you're out with 14.5% ROI. That's nice. Yeah, Sean, Joe, for me it was a position sizing thing too. Again, that's always how it is, right? If you have a massive winner, that's the smallest position you always seem to have on. %, early out on one, and 18% on the other. That's awesome, Tom. You killed it on that one. To share emotions. Market's coming back right now, guys. It's roaring back. Yeah, there's Scott. I don't think you're alone. I think there's a lot of people that are still going to be in the W trade next week. So this is a little bit of a different situation than we've been in the last couple of weeks, where we're pushing it right up to the close. We've got 8 minutes to the close, and we're pretty much out of most of our positions. At least we're out of positions that are expiring today. For most of us here, some of you are still riding that W trade. It's just sitting at 93 cents above the 300 strike price right now. But I thought that I would take some time here. We were going to do it right at the close. I don't know why we can't do it right now. Wizardy and Maximus had been, they've been, guys, there's a lot of people within this group here that are really taking this seriously and putting a lot of work in. And these two guys have done an awesome job of sort of collaborating and talking amongst themselves. And one of the things that they've been talking about is adding more of a psychology aspect to the trading journal, the Airtable that we are tracking our P&Ls in. And so I'm going to just give them free rein here to maybe throw some thoughts out to you guys. We obviously wanted to build this around what you guys find value in, right? It's all about what you guys find value in. So yeah, if they're online, I'll give them some time here to just kind of tell you what they're thinking or doing. There's the bell. Done for the day. You did 4,300 for the day, Eric. That's a nice job. Nice job. That is an awesome way to start the weekend. Much I appreciate all of you. This has been quite a journey in the last 6 weeks, and it's been awesome being able to build this sort of tight-knit group of traders. And your support in doing this for me has been just huge. It means the world to me, so thanks so much for being on board.